Listen, I know some of you guys hate this. I know some of you guys hate when we ask, but if you don't mind subscribing to the channel, I literally pour my soul into this. I absolutely love doing this. I love filming. I love trying new tech. I love taking $350 computers and turning them into home servers. I just love, I'm passionate about it, and I'm passionate about filming and documenting my progress as I build this business, as I eventually buy other businesses, and I bring you guys along that journey with me. I'm literally about to demolish that wall, by the way. It's getting demolished in a few hours. I'm expanding the business. So if you guys don't mind subscribing, it would be just amazing. I think I've tried about 5 to 6 different phones last year, and this is what I keep coming back to every time. Mind you, this is personal preference because there has been times I've asked you if you want me to rock something else, but deep down this is the phone I keep coming back to. One, because, well, OneUI is incredible, and two, well, I mainly live in North America. But that's not the only reason. You see, I decided to no longer rock this with a case, and of course, because the universe knows about it, it's forced my phone out of my pocket onto the floor like multiple times. So I've dropped this quite a lot, like a lot really, and my God, has it done pretty well. The titanium frame doesn't seem to scratch that easily. It's not in perfect condition, mind you, but it's been through hell. Really, like, I'll give it a solid pass compared to the 17 Pro Max. The screen, it's got a few micro scratches here and there, nothing that disturbs my experience. However, I realized the other day that I've got a few permanent smudges on the display. Must have happened when I dropped it. Like in Germany, for example, I dropped it so bad. One of my volume buttons actually came off, but I dropped it like really bad, guys. Like, it went flying into like concrete or gravel. And by miracle, my camera lenses are actually intact. I think most of the damage has been absorbed by the rings. A few close calls, but hey, we're good. The back has also no paint wear, the frame as well, it's all good. The USB-C port doesn't look like it's been abused too much. I like it, I really do like it. It feels great at hand, mind you, now that I've rocked quite a few phones. This is like the biggest phone I've kind of used. But you know what? The really cool thing is that OneUI makes that easier for you. Whoa, wait, sorry to interrupt. You know what I've realized that drives me absolutely up the walls? I don't know if you guys can see this, but you see how the S Pen sort of protrudes? You know? You see that? It's freaking annoying because sometimes it just pops out. Like, you see that? If I kind of, like, I don't know, put it down on a table and by accident it just slides that way, the S Pen comes out, and it happens often actually. And even when it falls out of my pockets, this is how I pick up my phone, like this, with the S Pen kind of floating out. So yeah, maybe just putting it a bit more in would be better so that doesn't happen. And the display, well, after a year, it's still fantastic. It's got the best anti-reflective display I've tried. It really does. I mean, from the 17 Pro Max to the Z Fold, the X9 Pro I used, this really does a fantastic job. This screen is by far my favorite one, and I love how the design really shapes it, especially towards the corners. Now, I haven't had any burn-ins or anything like that, which is good, and I've also haven't seen the display sort of decrease in brightness over time. It's still pretty much the same exact brightness as to when I got it. The one really cool thing though is that if you go into the control center right here, you push down right here, and again maybe you have this extra dim function that I use all the time. So when I go to bed and I want to read something at night, I use that extra dim function along with the brightness slider, put it all the way down, and it just brings a lot of eye comfort really at night. So yeah, I mean, I use this a lot when I'm on the phone reading stuff and so on. The flat display is also kind of the right call, even though I like the curved design better from like the S22 Ultra, for example. But really, with this flat display, there's like less accidental touches. The display reads every single swipe I make accurately. Trust me, as a good luck user, this is like one of the most important things, right? Everything else you can read on a spec sheet, right? If you want to know about the 120 hertz, the AMOLED, the great colors, all that, that's just like, you know, those, we've already talked about that. What I'm trying to say with that is that I'm not here to reiterate on specs. I'm here to talk about my experience with this phone for the year I've had it. I think it makes it a lot more interesting. I mean, you can just go online and read about specs all you want. In fact, I can actually give you a tool that will allow your research to be even better, like a better experience. Check this out. One thing I didn't expect when working across different machines and setups is how much time I'd spend researching instead of actually creating. Drivers, DaVinci quirks, Reddit threads, benchmarks, old forum posts. You're constantly deep in tabs trying to piece together answers. That's when I realized it'd be awesome to change how I browse, not just how I work. And browsers like Opera Neon can actually do that. This is Opera's experimental agentic browser, and it fits this kind of troubleshooting and creator workflow way better than a traditional browser does. Instead of one giant mess of tabs, Neon lets me group everything into tasks. These are self-contained workspaces where all the research, tools, and AI live together. And the AI only works inside that task without disturbing like anything else. So I'll have a video workflow task open with DaVinci, docs, Reddit threads, benchmarks, and tutorials all in their own workspace. Then I hit Neon Do and ask something like, summarize what creators are saying about DaVinci Resolve performance issues and highlight the common problems. Neon analyzes all the tabs inside my DaVinci task, understands the context of what I'm working on, and gives me a clean breakdown while I keep working. If I need something super specific, like finding a DaVinci tutorial and jumping to the exact part about removing silence, Neon just does it. And then there's Neon Make. Instead of installing yet another app or tool, I can ask it to build a simple to-do list for my setup and testing process, and it actually builds it and gives me the files. Opera Neon is still in early access on purpose. It's experimental, it updates fast, and it's shaped by a community of creators who actually use it in AI-heavy workflows. There's no wait list anymore, so you can just subscribe and start using it. What I'll do is that I'll leave a link in my bio. I think my only battle with this phone has been the battery, really. Like, I remember last year at some point, OneUI had released a new version. My God, did it like break my phone. I remember during the summer, I had like this F1 event with Apple. I left that event at around 3 p.m. I want to say, after charging it to about 70%. Throughout the day, you know, I was either using X, entering emails, using WhatsApp, Google Maps, Instagram, and whatnot. But for the most part, I was filming content for some of the new WWDC announcements. So I wasn't really that much on my phone. By 6:26 p.m., my phone was at like 41%. I had to call Jan and Uber, used messages, took some photos at the restaurant we were eating at, and by 9:37 p.m. I was already at about like 20%. I walked back to my car with about 14% left and battery saver on. So I basically got like 7 hours of battery by practically just doing nothing, man. It was awful because when I first got the phone, I used to abuse it and go from like 100% at 7 a.m. to about 2% at 9 p.m. by doing a bunch of stuff. Now, a year later, after all the updates I've done, it's been stable. My phone goes through a full day, like from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., for example, but I'm not doing that much, right? Like, I have an average screen time of like 4 hours, maybe 4 hours and a half, as long as I'm minimizing my Android Auto usage, of course. Believe me, I've gone like 6 hours of use with a screen time of like 3 hours after using Android Auto during my road trips extensively. So really, I've lived with like battery life with this phone. I've seen it progress, and it's nowhere near as good as the iPhone 17 Pro Max. I think this year for the S26 Ultra, we really need to see a new battery in here. We need to see some new technology. We need to start competing with the Chinese phones. Like the X9 Pro, for example. Oh my God, Jesus Christ, that phone lasted me for like 35 hours with an average screen time of like 6 hours. No way in hell would my S25 Ultra ever do that. But look, when I'm not on Android Auto, I easily get a full day of charge, and so by the time I have access to a charger and I don't need to use my phone at all, I can charge it with no problem. I do want to add to that because using the cameras is also very draining, nowhere near as much as having it connected to the car, but definitely just expect battery consumption to be up there with the cameras. If you're like traveling a lot and using your phone to take pictures, look, expect about 65 to 75% of your day to be spent with your charge, and then you'll have to like recharge it again, which is just, I guess, that's normal. I'd say more 65%. Now, when it comes to the cameras, okay, when I first got this phone, I was like, damn, these cameras are really, really good. But that was last year, and at the beginning of last year, I was already started to, I was starting to get exposed to like the Chinese phones with the Zeiss lenses and the Hasselblad. So my opinions have changed, man. Like it's not as good as I thought it was back then. Like I remember a few weeks before this released, I was rocking the Vivo X200 Pro. Loved that phone, mainly because of the cameras. By February, when this came out, my perspective on Samsung cameras had started to change because obviously I had experienced something better. And now that I've lived a full year with these cameras, I have so many like mixed opinions. While it's a great camera system and it does some things really, really well, in fact sometimes better than iPhone, it's lacking compared to something like the Oppo X9 Pro, for example, which I know it's unfair to say, but guys, I mean, come on, right? Like now in 2026, we should expect the S26 Ultra to deliver something really nice, man. Like, chop chop. I did find myself taking a lot of pictures in RAW as the year went. I feel like this was my only way to try and get the most out of this phone. I use Lightroom, edit them with a few of our presets, which by the way are available on our store now, so you guys can buy it. And while it works really well, I do want the S25 Ultra to have a bit of its own signature look. Like the iPhone, it's got this dark, moody vibe to it when it comes to taking pictures. The S25 Ultra sometimes just feels incomplete and just bland. Sure, it's nice having a lens that zooms all the way to 100x. It's also really nice that the telephoto lenses are quite sharp, but image processing is not there in my opinion. Not after being introduced to all these crazy phones backed up by Zeiss or Hasselblad. Like I said, in the past, the best way to describe the S25 Ultra camera system is that it delivers exquisitely detailed imagery and has very high versatility. The S25 Ultra does introduce a bit more magenta and blues within the photos, especially in closed-up spaces like studios, rooms, museums, art galleries, and so on. And compared to the iPhone, I must say the S25 Ultra has better colors, more details, and looks a bit more like true to life. So yeah, I'd like to see new cameras for the S26 Ultra, and I'd also hope that the S Pen doesn't go anywhere. So one of the main reasons I love the S25 Ultra so much is because of the S Pen. It's the only phone that supports the use of a proper pen, and I don't really use it to take notes. In fact, I use it to either remote control my Windows PC that sits at the studio or for drawings that require me to draw during renovations. It's actually fantastic at doing these things, but the one thing that really blows me away is how the mouse cursor on Parsec is being read by the pen's proximity sensor. This is just something that makes my life so much easier when I'm abroad and I need file access. And last year when I was reviewing phones that, of course, didn't have a pen like S Pen support, I truthfully just wanted to just yank them and throw them out of the window, because instead of using the pen, I'm using my finger to click those tiny little ass icons. So yeah, that's annoying. So yeah, all that plus the ability to use Samsung DeX, which is fantastic. It makes the S25 Ultra truly feel like you've got a mini computer in your pockets. And listen, I love the Z Fold. In my opinion, that phone feels like a true phone. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a gadget with a camera. It's like a complete phone. A phone that delivers an insane multitasking experience and screens that are honestly to die for. But the fact that it doesn't come with an S Pen is a big bummer. Like, how the hell do you make a phone with so much screen real estate and you don't add a pen to it? And as much as it pains me to say this, because I really love this phone, but the cameras really suck on it. Okay, maybe they don't suck, but they're just definitely not what they should be for a $2,000 phone. But one thing, okay, one thing that both of these phones have in common is OneUI. OneUI for me is everything, and I think it probably is the main reason as to why I have such a hard time leaving Samsung to go out there for a full year and try something else. OneUI, I don't know, it's just so customizable and it's been so personalized for me to the perfect degree of control actually, without feeling overwhelming. And a lot of it has to do because of good luck. And while Sound Assistant and Multi-Star have been great utility tools for me, the real MVP here is One Hand Operation Plus. With the One Hand Operation Plus, I have access to my control panel with a single diagonal swipe down, my calculator with a single diagonal swipe up, and the killer here is a swipe left that activates multi-window mode. With multi-window mode, I got my drawer also available to me. I can use pop-up views if I need to in order to enhance my multitasking. I've also made sure that my content shrinks enough within some apps to allow me to further consume all the content. And because I use a Linux Android ecosystem now, I can easily use my swipe diagonal down right handle to activate local send, which easily allows me to transfer files to my laptop or copy and paste content when I'm not using KDE. Really, OneUI is fantastic for me. And as someone that comes from the S25 Ultra, the S23 Ultra, the S22 Ultra, I feel like throughout the years, the UI experience has been a lot less buggy, at least from my experience. It's sharp, smooth, easy to interact with. The way you can make it look and feel destroys iOS, and not to mention it's got a proper file manager system. I actually use File Manager Plus to traverse my shared network folder in order to access files when I need to. Plus I got my photos synced with Google Photos, so no matter which device I'm on, it always makes sure I'm saving my photos. I use WhatsApp a lot as well, no bugs nor issues on my end, and for the most part all the social media apps I use work really well, but not always, because IG and X does have like their own weird bugs on Android from time to time. I do think that apps like IG and X tend to be a lot more cleaner on iOS, that's for sure. The only app though that has been driving me absolutely off the walls in 2025 has been Messages. My God. So this is the one bug, okay, that hasn't been fixed yet for me. Actually make it 2 bugs. So across my entire S25 Ultra experience, I've lived through a few bugs, okay, like YouTube playback issues, IG stories going dark, IG Reels playing even though I'm not on the app. I had this bug the other day on X while watching videos where I couldn't really get out of the video timeline screen, and I had to like do some weird stuff to get out of it, so that's one current bug. I also have a current bug that I have like this half cut logo permanently on my screen, which is a bit weird. I also used to get black grainy dots on my screen on some dark mode apps, but that seems to have been fixed. So I've had bugs. I've had a lot of bugs, you know, it's normal. With time, they actually get corrected. But the one bug that consistently drives me insane and hasn't been corrected is how voice notes behave in Messages. You see, I send a lot of voice notes to friends and family, and for some odd reason, playback bugs hard. Like sometimes randomly, my voice notes like to play themselves, even if I'm not using the app. And I try to pause them, they don't stop, they actually play on top of one another. It's kind of weird. It actually gets worse. Wait, sometimes I try to close the app and they're still playing. How the hell are you still playing a voice note if the app is closed? And then RCS. Oh my God, RCS. RCS is special, man. Let me tell you that. It's actually awful. It works when it wants to work. Let's put it that way. Sometimes my texts stop sending as RCS randomly. Sometimes people can't send me media because RCS just doesn't work, so I get these potato-like videos, really. I've tried every single trick in the book, trust me, but I gave up. So RCS for me works like 80% of the time, and then when it doesn't, I just rage, and that's how it goes. So literally that's been my 365 days with the S25 Ultra. It's not really 365 days, but almost 365 days. I am expecting to get the S26 Ultra, especially I'm expecting an early unit, so expect a lot of content with that.